Jade at Morillo from BSIT-1D. At ang tatalakayin natin ngayon ay ang Information and Communication Technology o mas kilala sa tawag na ICT. Ang ICT ay binubuo sa dalawa. Ang una ay IT, ang pangalawa ay ICT. Ang IT ay Information Technology na binubuo ng hardware at software that allow us to access, retrieve, store, organize, manipulate, and present information by electronic means. Ang pangalawa ay ICT o Communication Technology is the term used to describe telecommunication equipment. O ang halimbawa nito ay ang phone, faxes, modems, at computer. At ngayon, alam na natin ang bumubuo sa ICT. Kaya ngayon, alamin naman natin kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng ICT o Information and Communication Technology. Collectively refers to the technologies, both hardware and software, that enable human to communicate with one another. Ang ibig sabihin ay ginawa ang ICT para makipag-communicate tayo gamit ang technology. At ngayon, talakayin naman natin ang four main periods in history that divide the era of ICT. Pre-mechanical, mechanical, electromechanical, at electronic periods. The pre-mechanical period. It happens around 1450 BCE to 1450 CE. Paper from papyrus plant was invented. Storing of information was revolutionized. Paper were compiled and bound together, eventually giving birth to books. During this time, humans started communicating with one another using words and pictograms carved in rocks. And then, the most popular device created in this period is said to have come from China, the abacus, the first device to process information by Babylonians. The mechanical period. It started around 1450 to 1840. The interest in automating and speeding up numerical calculators grew during this period. Machines driven by mechanical means such as steam and gears dominated information processing and calculation. The mechanical calculator is Pascaline was the highlight of this period. It was invented by the famous mathematician inventor Blaise Pascal. And then Charles Babbage analytical engine, which is considered as the first programmable mechanical computer, was also invented during this period. Charles Babbage is known as father of computers. The electromechanical periods. It started around 1840 to 1940. This period saw the use of telegraphs to transmit information over a long distances. The telephone was later invented, enabling voice transmission over long distances. Humans started to control electricity using vacuum tubes and devices that enabling led to the development of today's electronic gadgets. Telegraph considered as the first electrical communication device, first invented in 1837 by William Cooke and Sir Charles Wheatstone. The first working model used 5 magnetic needles that could be pointed around sets of letters and numbers by using electric currents. Samuel Morse, an American inventor, introduced the first single circuit telegraph in 1844, which gave rise to the Morse code. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell was granted patent for the telephone. The electronic period. It started in the 1940s up to present. The highlights of this period is focused on the advent of solid-state devices, electronic devices. There are four main events found in this period: the late vacuum tubes period, the transistor periods, the integrated circuit periods, and the computer processors period. Electronic numerical integrator and computer, or ENIAC. The first electronic general purpose computer. Ito ay may haba ng 167 square meters. Its processing speed was slower than those machines used today. The transistor was invented in 1947. It is an electronic device with properties and functions similar to vacuum tubes, but it is lightweight and faster. It is the foundation of every electronic device today. The first full transistor computer was developed in 1957 and was faster than vacuum computers. Jack Kirby was created for introducing the integrated circuit in 1958. It is a device that is composed of transistor and circuit elements compressed in a single package. IC are used in processing device, and processors are constructed in IC form. Personal computers then use these processors to deliver user applications. Computers are evolving from basic textual interfaces to graphical user interfaces, or GUI. Brief history of computers. The earliest computing debit. The earliest data processing equipment were all manual mechanical devices due to the absence of electricity and adequate industrial technology. Abacus. From the mechanical periods. A more modern abacus. Note how the abacus is really just a representation of the human fingers. The 5 lower rings on each rod represent the fingers and the 2 upper rings represent the 2 hands. Upper bones, created by John Napier. In 1617, an eccentric Scotsman named John Napier invented logarithms, which are a technology that allows multiplication to be performed via addition. The magic ingredient is the logarithm of each operand, which was originally obtained from a printed table. But Napier also invented an alternative to table, where the logarithm values were carved on ivory stick. William authored Slide Rule by William Authored and others. Developed the slide rule in the 17th century based on the emerging work on logarithm by John Napier. Pascaline or Pascal calculator. It can be called arithmetic machine, and the first calculator or adding machine to be produced in any quantity and actually used. Ito ay ginawa at dinsenyo ng French mathematician na si Blaise Pascal. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. Ginawa niya ang stepped reckoner. Step reckoner or stepped reckoner was a digital mechanical calculator invented in German mathematician that called Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz around 1672 and complete in 1694. Hermann Hollerith invented the Hollerith machine, the first automatic data processing system. It was used to count the 1890 US Census. Hollerith key punch machine, the second machine created by Hermann Hollerith. All 67 million Americans was counted by punching holes into a card from the census forms. Early development in electronic data processing. Mark I, developed by Howard Aiken at Harvard University. Official name was Automatic Sequence Controlled Calculator, called perform the 4 basic arithmetic operations. ENIAC, Electronic Numerical Integrator in Computers, developed by John Cresper Eckers Jr. and John McClee. First large-scale vacuum tube computer. And EDVAC, Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer, developed by John von Neumann. A modified version of the ENIAC employed binary arithmetic as stored program capabilities. And the EDSAC, Electronic Delay Storage Automatic Calculator, built by Maurice Wilkes during the year 1949. One of the first stored program machine computers and one of the first to use binary digits. UNIVAC, Universal Automatic Computer, developed by George Gray in Remington Land Corp, manufactured as the first commercially available first-generation computer. IBM, International Business Machine. By 1960, IBM was the dominant force in the market of large mainframe computers. IBM 650, built in the year 1953 by IBM, and marked the dominance of IBM in the computer industry. At ngayon, dako tayo sa generation of computers. Generation in computers terminology is a change in technology a computer was being used. Initially, a generation term was used to distinguish between varying hardware technologies, but nowadays, generations includes both hardware and software, which together makes up an entire computer system. First generation, 1946 to 1959. Vacuum tube base. The use vacuum tubes in place of relays as a means of storing data in memory, and the use of stored program concept. Ang vacuum tubes na ito ay kinakailangan ng 3.5 electricity para mapagana siya sa buong araw. Who invent the vacuum tubes? First invented by a British scientist named John Fleming in 1919. Although Edison had made some discoveries while working on the light bulb, the vacuum tubes was improved by Lee De Forest. The main features of first generations are vacuum tubes technology, unreliable, supported machine language only, very costly, generate lot of heat, slow input or output devices, large size, non-portable, consume lot of electricity. Second generation, 1959 to 1965. This generation, using the transistor, were cheaper, consumed less power, more compact in size, more reliable, and faster than the first generation machine made of vacuum tube. In this generation, magnetic cores were used as primary memory and magnetic tape disks as secondary storage devices. Who invented the transistor? The first transistor was invented at Bell Laboratories on December 16, 1947 by William Shockley, seated at Brattain Laboratory bench. John Bardeen left and Walter Brattain right. The main features of second generations are use of transistor, reliable as compared to first generation computer, smaller size as compared to first generation's computer, less seat as compared at first generation computers, faster than first generation computers, still costly, AC needed, supported machine and assembly language. Sa pagkakabasa natin, sa pagkakarinig natin, mas mas improve na siya kaysa sa first generation. Dahil nakita naman dito, siya ngayon ay gumagamit na ng transistor at mas maliit na siya. At hindi na rin siya kumakain ng mas malaking kuryente. At hindi na rin siya ganong kabilis uminit. Third generation, 1965 to 1971. Integrated circuits in place of transistor. A single IC has many transistor, resistor, and capacitor along with the associated circuitry. Integrated solid state improved secondary storage devices and new input-output devices were the most important advances in this generation. The main features of third generations are ICUs, more reliable, smaller size, generate less heat, faster, lesser maintenance, still costly, AC needed, consume lesser electricity, support high-level language. Who invented the IC? The idea of integrating electricity circuit into a single device was born when the German physicist and engineer Werner Jacobi, or DE, developed and patented the first known integrated transistor amplifier in 1949, and the British radio engineer Geoffrey Dahmer proposed to integrate a variety of standard electronic components in a monolithic semiconductor crystal in 1952. A year later, Harwick Johnson filed a patent for a prototype integrated circuits. Fourth generation, 1971 to 1980. Very large scale integration at kilala rin bilang BLSI. BLSI circuits having about 5,000 transistors and their associated circuits on a single chip made it possible to have microcomputers of fourth generations. Fourth generation's computer became more powerful, compact, reliable, and affordable. As a result, it gave rise to personal computer PC revolution. In this generation, remote processing, time sharing, real-time, multi-programming operation system were used. All the higher level language like C and C++, D-Base, etc. were used in this generation. The main features of fourth generation BLSI technology use: very cheap, portable, and reliable. Use of PCs, very small size, pipeline processing, no AC needed. And concept of internet was introduced. Great developments in the fields of networks. Computers became easily available. Fifth generation, present and beyond artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is the branch of computer science concerned with making computers behave like humans. The term was coined in 1956 by John McCarthy at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Expert systems, programming computers to make decisions in real-life situations. For example, some expert system helps doctors diagnose disease based on symptoms. Kapag nawalang mga ganito, kapag nawalang technology, nahihirapan ng karamihan sa atin, tulad ng mga doktor, dahil ang kanilang ginagamit ay ang kanilang ginagamit ng kadalasan sa pag-diagnose ng mga sakit ay ang computers. Dahil sa computers ay madali nilang nalalaman kung paano gamutin ang isang sakit o kung ano ba ang nararamdaman nito o kung ano ang problema. Ngayon, dako naman tayo sa ICT in everyday life. ICT in everyday life, education, banking, industry, and commerce. Tara, sabay-sabay natin alamin kung ano nga ba ang kalagahan ng ICT sa araw-araw nating pamumuhay. Unahin natin sa education. Today, most schools and higher educational institutions have computers in the classroom for teachers and students. In education, teachers, students, researchers, and schools administrators benefits from the usage of ICT. Yun, tama yun. Dahil ang ICT ay kadalasan na natin ginagamit. Hindi lang kadalasan, kundi araw-araw. Dahil sa pamamagitan ng ICT, napapadali ang ating pag-aaral. Tulad ngayon, ay nagagawa natin makipagkomunikasyon kahit malayo tayo sa isa't isa. Madali rin natin na i-store ang mga importante natin kailangan malaman o mga importanteng hindi natin dapat malimutan. Dako tayo ngayon sa banking. The computers is the nerve center of the banking system around the world. It functions to control the entire banking system that also include electronic banking services. Electronic banking provides 24-hour services. Yun. Dahil sa ICT, napoprotektahan nito ang mga bangko. Dahil ang ICT ay gumagamit pa rin ng mga CCTV na para sa security ng bangko o mga tinatago nito. At para rin malaman kung may mga masamang tao ba na pumapaligid dito. At saka sa pamamagitan ng ICT, gagamit ito ng banking para i-input ang mga numbers na kagaya ng mga inilalagay ng mga tao na pinapatagong pera. Doon yun nila na i-input. Nilalagay nila sa system ng computer para matandaan kung magkano na ang iipon ng isang tao na pumupunta sa kanila. Ngayon, dako tayo sa industry. Computers are used to facilitate production planning and control system to support chain management and to help in product design in the industrial sector. In the industrial sector, workers, researchers, and administrators benefits from the usage of ICT. Yon, ang industry ay gumagamit rin ng ICT. Dahil sa ICT, nakokontrol nito ang time management at production planning. Ngayon, sa e-commerce. E-commerce helps in boosting the economy. It makes buying and selling activities easier, more efficient, and faster. For this application, computers, internet, and share software are needed. In the e-commerce sectors, customers, suppliers, and employees benefits from the usage of ICT. Positive and negative impact of ICT on society. First, faster communication speed, lower communication costs, reliable mode of communication, effective sharing of information, paperless environment, borderless communication, social problems, and health problems. Ang mga binanggit ko ay mga halimbawa ng positive impact and negative impact ng ICT. Madaling salita, hindi puro kagandahan ang benefits ng ICT. Meron din itong negative. Kaya, huwag nating aabusuin ang paggamit nito. 10 major parts of computer. Case, memory, hard drive, or solid-state drive, video card, motherboard, processor, power supply, monitor, keyboard and mouse, and optical drive or DVD. Case, also known as a computer chassis, tower, system unit, or cabinet, is the enclosure that contains most of the components of a personal computers. Random access memory. It is also known as read-write memory or the main memory of the primary memory. Itong memory to ay used to command, at ang hard drive is the hardware components that store all of your digital contents, your documents, pictures, music, videos, programs, applications, reference, and operating system represent. Digital content stored on a hard drive, and in hard drive stored application. Video card or graphics card works all along the same principles. The CPU working in conjunction with software application sends information about the image to the graphics card. The graphics card decides how to use the pixels on the screen to create the image. The motherboard is the backbone that ties the computer's component together at one spot and allows them to talk to each other. Without it, none of the computer's pieces, such as the CPU, GPU, or hard drive could. The processor, also known as the CPU, provides the instructions and processing power the computer needs to do its works. The more powerful and updated your processor, the faster your computer can complete its tasks. Power supply is an electrical device that supplies electric power to an electrical load. All power supplies have a power input connection which receives energy in the form of electric current from a source and one or more power output connection that deliver current to the load. Monitor is an output device that displays information in pictorial form. A monitor usually comprises the visual display. The keyboard allows the user to type letters and numbers, and the mouse allows the user to position the cursor, draw and execute program function by clicking mouse buttons. DVD, RW or drive in a computer is a common type of optical drive that can read and write information from and to a DVD disc. Ang processor ay para lang siyang utak ng tao. Siya ang nag-uutos kung anong gagawin ng bawat isa. Power supply. Siya naman ang nagpapanatiling buhay ang iyong computer or anti-leakage. Network What is network? Network is a collective of things, people, system of groups that are interconnected with each other. Computer network. Computer network is defined as the interconnection of two or more computers. It is done to enable the computer to communicate and share available resources. Application of computer network. Sharing resources such as printer, sharing of expensive software and database, communication from one computer to another computer, exchange data and information among users via network, sharing information over geographically wide areas. There are two types of network applications. First is pure network application, standard-alone network application. Pure network applications, these are applications created to be used in network using pure network applications on a single computer does not make sense. They help us transfer data and communications within a network. Such applications have a separate and distinct user. An example of this is email programs. This allows users to type message at their local modes and then send them to someone, and the ways of transferring mail from one computer to another. Example of electronic mail programs: Outlook, Gmail, Front, Zoho Mail, Microsoft Exchange Online, and Spike Housewind. And the second example, File Transfer Protocol or FTP. This application facilitates the transfer of files from one computer to another, from a client to server. There are two common processes involved in FTP, that is downloading and uploading. The downloading, this is the process of obtaining file from a server to a workstation or client. For example, when you download programs and music from a server. Uploading, this is obtaining of file from a workstation to a server. For instance, when you attach documents and upload them to a server, a good example being when you upload photos to Facebook. And the third example, groupware. These applications are used to automate the administrative function of a modern office for video conferencing and chatting. They facilitate the work of groups for increased productivity. They can be used to communicate, cooperate, coordinate, solve problems, compete, and negotiate. Video conferencing, this is the process of conducting a conference between two or more participants at different sites by using computer networks to transmit and admit and video data. Chatting, this is the real-time communication between two users via computers. Once a chat has been initiated, either user can enter text by typing on the keyboard, and the entered text will appear on the other user monitor. Stand-alone application. These applications that run on stand-alone computers not connected to any others. In order to extend their activity, they are rebuilt to run on network, environment, etc. Word processors, spreadsheet, and database management system. They function even when the computer is offline. Benefits of computer network: increase speed, reduce costs, improve security, centralized software management, electronic mail, flexibility access, sharing resources. Hardware network allows sharing many devices such as printer, scanner, fax machine, and etc. Software sharing software resources reduce the cost of installations, same space in hard disk. Network types. Network types depends on how large they are and how much an area they covered geographically. Most people who have a basic knowledge of networking are familiar with the terms LAN and WAN. PAN, Personal Area Network. Network that is used on a personal level. PAN use wireless technologies such as Bluetooth, Infrared, NFC. Can also connected by using a USB cable. LAN, Local Area Network. A group of devices, computers, servers, switches, and printers that are located in the same building in close proximity to each other. The most common type of LAN is an Ethernet LAN. 8 different types of website: informational website, brochure style website, e-commerce website, blogs, personal websites, social media and networking website, photo sharing website, and mobile device website. 3 components of computer: central processing, input devices, and output devices. 7 layers of OSI model: physical, data link, network, transport, network, session, presentation, and application. 5 major functions of computer: input or inserting data, processing, output or retrieving data, storing data or information, controlling of devices.